It is often asked where American cinema started. In a world full of technical innovation, a narrative visionary was destined to step in and show the way forward. Edwin S. Porter was the man that gave America its own cinematic art. Hello, and welcome to my channel. For many years, I have been fascinated by films and filmmaking, and am an aspiring filmmaker myself. For this, I decided I wanted to honor the filmmakers and creatives that made the art form what it is. This is the second episode in a series I wanted to do on film directors. For those who don't know, these are the people that are behind all the creative decisions made in the creation of a movie. I am going to try and start from the beginning and work my way to the present to cover the full history of filmmaking. Some directors you may have heard of, and others maybe not. So, without further ado, let's get started. The late 19th century was named the Second Industrial Age. Technology was evolving quicker than people could understand it. Telephones, phonographs, and even an early internal combustion engine were all inventions made in this period. The assembly line had been invented to make goods faster with more efficiency. In all this kerfuffle, the movies had just been invented in Europe. This innovation in technology piqued the interest of one Thomas Edison, whom at the time was one of the wealthiest inventors of his day. Immediately, Edison and his crew began experimenting with this new medium. Edison's experiments resulted in his invention of the kinetograph. This invention allowed for a more modern motion picture camera. Fellow inventor W.K.L. Dixon supervised experiments that played with the idea of synchronized sound with motion pictures. These would later be known as the Dixon Experimental Sound Film, which would later be inducted into the National Film Registry in 2003. Dixon later left the Edison Company in April of 1895, allowing others to step in his place. Edwin S. Porter was born on April 21st, 1870 in Connellsville, Pennsylvania. His father, Thomas Porter, was a local businessman who often participated with his siblings' endeavors. Thomas became the owner of a furniture rental business in the late 1870s. 1880s, Connellsville was wrapped up in the local coke business. No, not those cokes. Processed coal used to make steel, a staple of the Pennsylvania economy at the time. A small town, but an industrial powerhouse that stood as a main inspiration for young Edwin. He was one of 7 siblings in his family, having been the youngest for 10 years. Even though Edwin's family were upper middle class, his upbringing would show the struggles of the working class. The values of family togetherness he had learned growing up would often show in many of his works. Edwin was inspired deeply by the inventor Thomas Edison, a national hero during his childhood. This would lead Edwin to be interested in electricity and mechanics. Porter was a poor student in school and never went to college. He became a plumber by the mid-1880s and later started his own tailoring business. In 1891, along with fellow inventor Charles Balsley, he had invented an electric light regulator. After the tailoring business went under, Porter decided to go into the U.S. Navy for 3 years, during which he was a telegraph operator. After coming back from the Navy, he became a projectionist for the Edison Company. He later toured with vaudeville performers as an exhibitor throughout the Caribbean and Canada. He even helped to build the projector in the Eden Will See Theater in New York. After showing so much of his technical skills with projectors, in 1900, the Edison Company hired him to improve their equipment with film, and his life and history was changed. Not long after joining, Porter was put in charge of Edison's film studio in New York. Starting by making short films like The Finish of Bridget, McKeen, and What Happened on 23rd Street, New York City, he started to use continuity editing to make longer films. Inspired by the works of Méliès, he sought to improve upon his techniques. Some of his early long films include Life of an American Fireman and what is considered his masterpiece, The Great Train Robbery. One of the first Western films, it chronicles the robbing of a train by two bandits and almost got away for it, not for the marshals and his deputies. It became known as the first box office hit and establishing the Western film as an American staple, often showcasing the same theatrical look of George Méliès. However, the film shows more wide angles with more space in an outdoor setting, along with one of the first close-ups, a shot of a cowboy shooting at the camera. This shot has inspired multiple filmmakers to emulate it in their work, like at the end of Martin Scorsese's Goodfellas. Porter continues to make films in similar ways as The Great Train Robbery, such as an adaptation of Uncle Tom's Cabin and The Kleptomaniac. Porter had done some experimentation with model animation, like in The Teddy Bears from 1907. Porter was known for launching the careers of such prominent figures in the industry, such as D.W. Griffith's first acting role in Rescued from an Eagle's Nest in 1908, and for producing Mary Pickford's first feature, A Good Little Devil, in 1914. Porter founded two motion picture companies, the Defender Film Company and the Rix Motion Picture Company. However, he decided to retire from the industry in 1915. Becoming the president of the Precision Machine Company, he ended up retiring completely in 1925. Edwin Porter's filmmaking style became the standard for the film industry for 2 decades. His portrayal of the working class and sense of realism changed the way filmmaking was done. Porter proved that the industry could be taken seriously and gave the blueprints for what we know as Hollywood. He used his technical background to improve the cinematic and editing styles of his predecessors. Edwin S. Porter, the father of American cinema. Thank you all for watching the video. If you made it this far and you want to see more in the future, I suggest subscribing to the channel. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.